we often talk about a very fine line between innovation, free market capitalism, versus regulation. And when should regulators come and step in? When should some of these congressional hearings go further into being more action? And I think that is the line that we're all trying to answer right now. And we can try to help answer that with former Facebook analyst and Heritage Foundation Tech Policy Center Director Kara Frederick, who I'm pleased to say joins us now. Where is the line for you? What do you think should be done to help solve this problem?
Taylor, wherever the line is, the tech companies have overstepped, especially these big tech companies. This is the biggest data point that I think everyone in your audience needs to remember when you're talking about that tension between regulation and a genuine free market, not a warped free market distorted by anti-competitive behavior, but a genuine free market. And that issue is the fact that internal Facebook research showed that these products were harmful to teens. In fact, 6% of American teens trace suicidal ideation directly to Instagram because Facebook knew that, and yet they forged ahead with plans to attract preteen users, 9 to 11-year-olds. They called them a valuable but untapped audience. So in the face of all of this evidence and scientific evidence at that, with neuroscientists coming out and saying these products are harmful to children and their mental health, they forged ahead. They want to keep going. They're trying to maximize their user engagement and their growth through younger and younger demographics. That is a problem. That is why the line has been crossed and regulation is needed.
Kara, in my own family, I'm on the warpath against social media, basically. My kids can't stand it most of the time, but it's for these reasons. I don't want them to use these products, period, because I think addiction is at the very heart of how they make money. But that said, as I think about how you deal with the companies, you talk about maybe more rules they have to follow, something like that. I wonder if the real way to affect change is actually to make them maximally liable for whatever is trafficked on the platform. That's a Section 230 question, Kara. Do you think liability ultimately is the answer to this problem?
Oh, absolutely. We've, at the Heritage Foundation, have long been advocates of focused reform of Section 230 because tech companies will use it to insulate themselves from civil liability. This is, of course, a statute that gives these tech companies immunity from civil liability for content that's posted on their platform, usually by third parties. And tech companies will drape themselves in free speech, saying, oh, we are free speech actors too. You're infringing upon our First Amendment rights too by trying to say what we can or can't have on our platforms. And that argument at this point is null and void, again, especially when it comes to our children, especially when it comes to these deliberately addictive properties. You have 42 state representatives, attorney generals suing Meta last year, saying that they are designing these products to do just that. I don't think you can argue with these guys. So yes, you have some teeth. You hit them where it hurts, and that is in their pocketbooks. That's the only thing that I think these companies that I've worked for actually respond to. So Congress has a role, state attorney generals can do it, and parents should be giving recourse and to actually exploit that liability in order to get some, frankly, justice for
Kara,
the kids and what these companies have been doing.
This is one part of the conversation. The other, of course, is China and China's involvement in all of this through TikTok. It was something that President Trump was fighting heavily to stop, but of course, it fell flat on its feet when he was out of office. Take a listen to FBI Christopher Wray and his latest comments.
I have very significant security concerns about TikTok, and it's a combination of the ability that the Chinese government would have to, if they choose to exercise it, to control the collection of the data, to control the recommendation algorithm, and if they wanted to be able to control and compromise devices.
So what do we do about this part of it?
Oh, I think the only answer here is a wholesale ban of TikTok. Project Texas, which is attempts to extricate ownership of TikTok from ByteDance, that's not going to work. The Wall Street Journal has more information on that, especially because sharing data is much different than having engineers in China access data. And we know the governance issues in China are legion. National security laws basically say that there are no private companies in China. They all have to be in the service of the Chinese Communist Party. And we know TikTok TikTok's gone back on their word before. American user data has been accessed by Chinese engineers. We know that TikTok was used as a surveillance tool to try to locate the exact physical locations of American journalists. And they said that wasn't going to happen. You can't trust them. The CCP is embedded in ByteDance, and they are not going to let this algorithm go. As they've said, it's going to remain in China, so that fear is always going to be there. Project Texas won't work. You got to ban it.
Kara, good comments. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Taylor.